There are places where the road thins, where the world you know gives way to something older, something patient. These are the stories of people who walked that edge and what they carried back. The notification arrived at 6:14 in the morning from a number I had not deleted from my phone in 2 years and 8 months. I know the length of that time the way I know my own address, automatically, without choosing to. 2 years, 8 months, 11 days. The kind of arithmetic that runs underneath everything else. Quiet and continuous, like a clock in a room you've stopped noticing. I stared at the notification for a long time. The screen dimmed and went dark. I woke it again and stared for longer. Then I opened it. My kitchen, photographed from the doorway, looking toward the window in exactly the quality of morning light that was coming through that window as I sat looking at the photo. Timestamp 6:11, 3 minutes before I woke up. My first instinct was practical. I am, when frightened, aggressively practical, which is a coping mechanism I inherited from my father and have never fully examined. Someone had her number. A reassignment, a porting error, a stranger who had taken a photo of a kitchen that happened to look like mine. The angle was wrong for someone standing in a doorway. Too low, too close to the floor. But there were explanations for that too if I wanted them. I called the number. It rang 4 times and went to her voicemail. Her voice, recorded 2 years and 8 months ago, asking me to leave a message, saying her name in the particular way she said it, with a slight upward inflection at the end, like even her name was a question she found amusing. I sat on the edge of my bed and cried in a way I hadn't let myself cry since the first month. The ugly, graceless, productive kind of grief that you keep postponing because you have things to do and a life to hold together, and somewhere along the way you mistook postponing for healing. The second photo came 6 days later. My hallway from the direction of the front door at the same hour. The third came 4 days after. My living room from the corner where Marta used to sit when she visited. Feet tucked beneath her, talking too fast about whatever she was currently furious about or in love with, which were with Marta often the same thing. I stopped trying to explain it. Not because I'd found an explanation, because I understood that whatever was happening existed outside the category of things that resolve into explanations. What I did instead was pay attention, because the photos were not escalating. Every horror I had ever read told me they should be. The presence closing in, the threat building. That was not what was happening. She was visiting the places in my apartment she had loved. That was all. Quietly, at dawn, before the day began, like someone returning to something they missed. The eighth photo was different. My front door, closed, taken from inside, and on the small table by the door, where I drop my keys, where I leave things I mean to deal with later, a piece of paper I had never placed there. Her handwriting, a phone number. Below it, call him. The number belonged to a man named Tomas, who had been driving the other car. Not at fault. The accident report had been clear. But in the particular way of people who survive things they feel they shouldn't have. He had been trying to find me for 2 years. He needed, he said, to tell me that Marta had not been alone at the end. That in those last seconds she had looked at him through the windshield. And she had not looked afraid. I don't know what to do with that yet. I am still figuring out the shape of what it means. But I know it is something I had needed without knowing I needed it. The particular piece of information that allows a grief to finally shift from an open question into something that can, slowly, begin to close. The photos stopped after that call. Whatever she was doing, whatever version of my sister came back to those quiet dawn hours in my apartment, moving through the rooms she remembered until she found a way to leave me the one thing she knew I needed. She stopped when the thing was done. That is very much like her. Marta did not linger. She arrived, she fixed what she decided needed fixing, she left. I used to find it maddening. I would give almost anything to find it maddening again. I kept Tomasz's number. We have spoken 4 times now. He is not yet a friend. That word requires more time and more ordinary shared experience than we have. But he might be, eventually. I think Marta would find that funny and satisfying in equal measure. She always said I didn't have enough friends. She was right. She was right about most things, which I resented when she was alive and now hold as a kind of inheritance. Some roads end before you're ready, but sometimes, not always, not reliably, not on any schedule that makes sense, something from the other side of the ending finds a way to hand you what you need to keep walking. I'm learning to hold that without trying to explain it. I'm learning, most days, to be grateful for the light left by people who are no longer here to see it. That seems like the right kind of carrying.